Hello guys, Sue Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM episode number 1206. Today we'll be adding to something new to LJPCBM episodes out there for LJPCBM out there. We're gonna be adding to something new to LJPCBM out there. And I'm gonna say it twice, but okay, whatever. It's something related to Barney fans out there. And it has to do with my new friend of mine named Andrew Olsen. Now, who he is, you may ask? Well, he's known as Barney Builder on YouTube. And he's been interviewed on I Love You, You Hate Me. And I have known him for a couple of days ago. And I asked him to react to, and I've been on a group called Barney's History Fans Facebook group. I'm not sure how many months ago it was in the time, but hide that press. Right now he has about 2,001 subscribers in the time frame on YouTube. I'd like to congratulate him for that. And what he is, folks, he was bodybuilder, and he's a body collector, historian, and Republican builder. So what he was, folks, is I met him like about days ago. So and he's been here. I said before, he does history, builds, and music. So he just goes from there, saying from the interviews of I Love You, You Hate Me, and so on. So anyway, today I'm reacting to Live from Barney's Couch today. So we're gonna do 3 episodes of that, and then we'll wrap things up for my day to do bedtime stories, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and react to the first episode of Live from Barney's Couch, beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Wow.
Welcome to Live from Barney's Couch. I'm Andrew Olsen, aka Barney Boater, your resident Barney historian and Barney collector. Now, this is a new series that I'm wanting to do that highlights, stories from Barney's history and also highlights pieces of my own Barney collection that I have. And yes, I'm sitting on a chair that was used on the set of Barney and Friends.
Oh yeah, that was a movie review on Bob's Show thing, and if you watch his Bob's Show, Super Sing Circus review for you, buddy. Continue on.
And some Barney home videos, hence the name Live from Barney's Couch. Now,
Okay.
In today's episode, I want to tell the story behind how Barney was designed.
Okay.
It's a really interesting story, and a story that I don't think a lot of people know. Now, in order to tell the story behind Barney's design, we need to go way back to May of 1988.
Okay.
Pre-production on Barney and the Backyard Gang was ramping up. And the producer and director, John Grable, was really putting together the entire production team to make this whole thing happen. John had the most television production experience out of almost anyone else on that founding team, and they were really relying on him to make things happen. And so he went through his own personal list of contacts and brought a lot of people in that he had worked with previously. One of those people was a woman by the name of Jamie Ruth Connor. Now, it became apparent that they needed an art director for the shoot, and John had previously worked with Jamie in another children's show that was filmed in the early 1980s called The Sunshine Factory.
Of that, I have not seen The Sunshine Factory. Okay, continue on.
He knew she did amazing work, and so we called her up and told her about the gig. A couple of days later, Jamie goes in with her whole portfolio, ready to show John, thinking this is a whole job interview type situation. And, when she gets to John and meets with him, she pulls all this out and he just goes, "Do you know why you're here?" And she says, "Isn't this a job interview?" And he goes, "No, you have the job. I just need you to get started." And that was that. And so she started as the art director that day in May 1988. Now, the first thing that he wanted her to do was to actually fire the production designer that they had hired for the show. Um, I'm gonna, the production designer, he'll remain nameless, but John and him were butting heads, and he really just wasn't working out for what they needed. He had already designed and built the sets for the backyard, the house, and the clubhouse. Um, but beyond that, they didn't really want to use him for the shoot. Now, that's a whole story for another day. But today, we want to focus on Jamie. Jamie was asked to fire him, and that's what she did. And
wow.
She goes back to John and says, "What's next?" And John says, "I need you to deal with the dinosaur. They're having a lot of issues with the Barney costume. They had hired Irene Corey to design and build this costume. Irene was a world-class, world-renowned costume designer, costume fabricator. Her vision for Barney was not the same as John, Kathy, Cheryl, and Dennis's vision for Barney, though.
Okay.
And so they needed another pair of eyes to come in and help refine this design.
Okay.
Irene really wanted this realistic dinosaur. If you look at the early sketches.
Oh, wow. Even though I saw in the Barney Fan Club Facebook edition post on social media in the early 2010s, but okay. I get that point. Continue on.
You'll see him with claws, teeth, scales.
Wow.
And that's not really what they want.
No.
John, in his own words, he wanted a dinosaur that someone the age of Tina would be able to easily run up to and embrace. Well, Jamie was mulling around how Barney may look. She was also given the task to draw out the storyboards for the shoot. And she drew all the storyboards out, she brought them to John, showed them to him, and he took one look at how she drew Barney and goes, that is the Barney that I want. I want you to make him look like that.
Wow.
And from there on, Jamie went off to Irene Corey workshop. And at this point, Irene was actually working in tandem. She was working on some life-size dinosaur statues for a museum exhibit. And she kind of removed herself from the project to work on these other statues and left Barney in the hands of her niece, Suzanne. Jamie shows up to the workshop, and the dinosaur's just about 50% done, about halfway finished. It already has a body, already has a head and everything.
Okay.
And Jamie brings the sketches in and shows Suzanne what they're thinking, and all the alterations they need to change. And the two of them go to town on the dinosaur, and they have to take the head off. They make major body alterations. They pull the claws off the feet and replace them with ping pong balls.
Wow.
Jamie's the one who chose the color palette purple, green, yellow. And I met with Jamie a couple weeks ago, and I asked her why those colors. And she says simply, that shade of purple was just popular in the late 80s, and so that's why she picked it. She was also the one that came up with the spots on Barney's back. So with Jamie's help, Suzanne completed this costume. They spray painted it purple, and that was that's how the first Barney was designed and built. It was a kind of an interesting story I found. I went down and met with Jamie in Texas a couple weeks ago, and she told me the story, and this has never been told before. And everyone always assumes that Irene was credited with designing Barney, which Irene did take more involvement once the costumes were transitioned to fleece. But that early suit was really Suzanne and Jamie. So I thought that was really interesting that that suit really set the foundation for everything that came after. So let's take a break and look at some pieces I've added into my collection over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
Now, if any of you have watched my previous videos, you'll know that I'm a big Barney collector, and I'm constantly adding pieces to my collection. And so monthly, I get dozens of pieces monthly that I like to add. And so here's some of the pieces that I've added over the past couple of weeks. So I've actually added a lot of clothing pieces and shirts over the past couple of weeks, surprisingly. I don't have a ton, or I didn't have a ton before this last month, and so I'm glad that, I came across a lot of these things. This is an interesting piece of Barney's history. This is a Family Fest shirt. in 1993.
Wow.
And it was a festival held up in Minneapolis to raise money for a children's hospital. And Barney came out there. And yeah, this is just a children's shirt from it. I thought it was a great, piece to preserve as part of
Wow.
Barney's history. Next, I have a crew member shirt. This is fun. This is Barney Communications. So this was the press team that would have been given this in the late 90s.
Wow.
Next up, I have another crew member shirt. Now, this shirt is from the crew from the Barney movie, and it says Barney Movie Team on the front of it. The back of it has Barney's Great Adventure, and I've never
Wow.
seen one of these come up. So when I did, I jumped on it and grabbed it. I do not know the crew member this came off of. The person I bought it from said they originally got it at a flea market.
Wow.
So, who knows? Now, this next one, I was kind of disappointed when it came. I thought this was totally authentic. It's a Barney World Premiere shirt. I got it for $40, so I probably should have assumed it wasn't authentic.
Wow.
When it came, there was some red flags. And on the bottom, it says the copyright is the
Did they misspell it wrong? Continue on.
Omnic Group, not the Lions Group. So, obviously, yeah, there were some issues there. But, I decided just to keep it instead of returning it, and I don't have to feel bad about wearing it now and wearing it out since it's not authentic. And I don't have very many adult Barney shirts I feel comfortable wearing because a lot of them I just like to put on display as part of my collection. Now, this last shirt I want to share is really special. This is a crew member shirt from Barney in the Backyard Gang. Now,
Wow.
When I went down and met with Jamie in Texas a couple weeks ago, we sat on our porch and just talked. And we ended up sitting there for a good 3.5 hours just talking about Barney and reminiscing of everything she did for the show in those early days. And at the end of our conversation, she pulls out this shirt and gifts it to me. So,
wow,
it's really special. She actually designed this pink and yellow logo here. So, yeah, she's a great person. We're really good friends. We text almost every day now, and we have a good relationship going. So, she's a fun person that I enjoyed getting to know. Other really fun backyard gang memorabilia that I've collected over the past couple of months. First off is this postcard. This is the first mailer that was sent out to people advertising Barney in the Backyard Gang, the Barney videos. So it folds out. There's a whole little letter from Sam Duncan. It just gives kind of a synopsis about what Barney is about.
Wow.
You can detach this and send it back to pre-order your Barney videos. Along with that, I also got the very first Barney price sheet catalog again. It's double-sided. It has the prices of the videos and the books and the cassette tapes.
Wow.
On this side, and then on this side, it kind of just gives a synopsis and who Barney is and the publications he's been seen in.
Wow.
Something I found really interesting about this is this bottom tape right here, The Day at the Beach. It has a different cover than is seen on the actual release. I find that interesting. Going back to this sheet, it says The Day at the Beach was originally supposed to come out in October 1988. Obviously, there were some issues with post-production, and so it didn't come out until 1989, but it was supposed to be the second video to be released, and Backyard Show, of course, was the first. And the reason they're released out of order is story for a different day.
Yeah.
This next piece of Barney history I have is actually a letter that Cheryl Leach wrote. It has her signature on the bottom of it. This was written January 4th, 1995.
Wow.
It says, Dear David, what a remarkable woman and effort. Should we consider giving some of the money from the Barney movie to the Pediatric AIDS Foundation? Looking forward to seeing you soon. Best regards, Cheryl.
Wow.
creator, executive producer. I've also added quite a few plush dolls to my collection over the past couple of months.
Wow.
Plush dolls, I think they're probably the best seller of any Barney merchandise. Maybe the VHS tapes were ahead of it. But there's a lot of plush dolls out there, so they're easy to get their hands on. This is a fun little guy. This is
Wow.
For the 10th anniversary of Barney. He's a tiny little plushie.
Wow.
And if you squeeze his belly, he opens his arms up.
Wow.
Next we have is a 2-foot tall Barney plush manufactured by Golden Bear. His little tag on still.
Wow.
I found him on Craigslist, believe it or not, for about $20. And he does need to be cleaned. There's dirt on him, but I mean, for a $20 buy, it's not bad. Next up, I have a Barney plush doll from the Barney Big Surprise tour.
Wow.
His shirt has Barney's Big Surprise on it. He's in pretty good condition. He too has his tag on, though it's a little crumpled.
Wow.
But I don't remember how much it paid for it, but he was.
Wow.
I don't think he was too much, so it's a good
Okay.
buy. Now you'll recognize these guys. These are the 1990 Dakins. I have, I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 of them at this point.
Wow.
Both of these, this one I got for $10. This one I got for about 30. So those were good prices. I kind of passed them up, and they're in pretty good condition. This one does have some spots missing for right away, but this guy I thought was kind of interesting because his stance is so much wider than the normal Dakins.
Wow.
So I mean, if you compare him to this guy, they're yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
And you know, you can never have too many Barney dolls. Next up, I have a Baby Bop Golden Bear.
Wow.
She's in really good condition.
Wow.
And I think this is my first Golden Bear Baby Bop. I have a couple Dakin Baby Bops. If you want to compare them side to side, this one does appear to be more shiny. And the texture of her is more satiny than the Dakin's. Also, if you notice, the ears, the interior of the ears of silk is 2 different colors, which kind of interesting. And I don't know if that's just because it's faded or what. But side-by-side comparison of a Dakin versus the Golden Bear Baby Bop.
Wow.
Next up, we have another Chicago Bears Special Edition Barney.
Okay.
Now, this is my second one of these. This one's actually in better condition than the other one I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid about $5 for him, so not too. Did break the bank this time. You know, these were given out at a Chicago Cubs game. Let's see, July 17th, 2001.
Okay.
So they're limited number of these out there, but they're highly collectible at this point. And yeah. Now I also got a bunch of packaged Barney toys. Like this guy is a little nightlight.
Okay.
It's fun. I got these foot jingles. I won all these in an auction lot.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cheap, and so I don't know why someone would need foot jingles, but they made them. It's got this guy, this Fun Time Barney, and his packaging up and board wear.
Okay.
These are just all the same. Okay. We have one. Kind of dirty.
One dropped for some reason.
I think
Okay.
they've been sitting around probably.
Okay. I'm not gonna play that again. Continue on.
Kind of dirty, but I mean, I think they've been sitting around probably in a warehouse since the 90s. So
Okay.
they're pretty good. They could use some cleaning, but for what I paid for them, it's worth it.
Mm.
Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this first episode of Live from Barney's Couch. And before I go, I want to leave you off with a fun little Barney fact. Now, that first Barney costume was probably the most different than anything that came after.
Wow.
And being such, you know, he received a lot of interesting nicknames from the crew. 3 interesting nicknames that I've heard from him. We've all heard the Blue Dog. A lot of people call him the Blue Dog.
Which is part of my reaction videos of Purple Roads podcast and Purple Tales. If you saw these episodes of those reacts, go check them out. Continue on.
Because at times he would appear kind of a bluish purple on screen. So there's the Blue Dog. Another interesting one I've heard is the Purple Lizard. This is what people were calling him on set while they were filming. And that was told to me by CJ McCormick, who was the props master for the show. And then Jamie, she nicknamed him Purple Meat. So that was her little nickname for that Barney costume. Thank you all for watching. If you want to stay up to date on some new Barney history facts and see what I'm doing with my collection, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. If you have questions about Barney's history or about my collection or anything Barney in general, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the section below and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. Thank you all for being here, and we'll talk to you next time live from Barney's couch.
So that was live from Barney's couch, episode 1. What do I think about this episode? I think it was amazing. Despite all this, so far, it was successful. It was great, but Barney was my child growing up. That was LJPCBM episode number 1206. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one's going to be live from Barney's couch, episode 2, The Fate of Barney the Dinosaur. Till next time, so Jonas and Papa, so baby, good word, LJPCBM, guys, be still, so out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.